So what you're going to do is you're going to do a couple more of these diagonals and do them different sizes, slightly smaller, slightly bigger. You want to have some overlap, so maybe I'm going to do one right here. And I'm still holding my shift key. It's good to hold my shift key when I'm on my screen, so I held my shift key to go diagonal, and then I held it to go up, and then I held it to go diagonal again. But when I got off the page, I did my own thing because I wanted to make sure I could close the shape. So I'm going to do another color. So I'm going to go down here, solid color. I'm going to choose something different, maybe this blue right here. What you can do is you don't have to keep going back to the overlay. You can just copy this. So I right clicked right here, copy layer style. I'm pasting it onto the one above it. So I clicked on the layer above, and then I right clicked again, and I say paste layer style. So now I don't have to keep doing that step over and over again, but it allows me to kind of build my design, doing different solid colors, and not having to go back to that overlay panel. All right. So I'm going to stop it right here. You can keep building it, and I'm going to kind of go ahead to because you're going to do a bunch of different lines. I'm going to kind of pause it here, and then I'm going to go ahead and then pick up as the steps change a little bit later on. All right. Alright, so this is where I am right now. I haven't really been adding anything from the top right or any other directions. I'm still going in that motion to from top left to bottom right. What I'm thinking about doing is just doing a symmetrical type design where I flip it and see what the overlap happens. You can continue building it in any way you want, different directions, circular. I added a lot of circles in mine. Some things I left open, like this red line, I didn't do any overlay on it. This white line, I didn't do any overlay. And I kind of like how that turned out. I think I'm going to do one more right here. And just holding my shift key again. But just doing a solid fill line. I think it kind of has a nice look to it. And remember, you can always go back and reorder these layers to give it a better transparency and overlay. On some of these, I changed the color a little bit. So this blue one right here, I did a different gradient on it. So I clicked on this, and when I went in here to my gradient overlay, I just chose a different gradient overlay instead of the one that I had before. I was initially doing this one, but I thought it would come out a little bit stronger if I did a blue. So you can change that, and I think that'll make it a little bit better. It gives you a little bit more variety. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to try to flip this and see what happens. So I'm going to select all my layers. So I'm going to click on my top layer, and then I'm going to scroll down and go all the way to the bottom here, and I'm going to hold down shift on my keyboard, and then I'm going to click on the bottom layer. So what that does is it selects all the layers in between. All right. And what I'm going to do with those layers, I'm going to put them in a folder. So I'm going to click folder, and now they're in one group. So I have them all grouped into one. So I'm going to say left to right. I have my caps lock on. So I put them all in one group. So I'm just going to duplicate that group, I think, and see what happens. So I'm going to right click on it, say duplicate group, click OK. Right. And then what I want to do is I want to flip it. So I'm going to title this right to left. Right, so I'm going to go up here to edit, transform, and flip horizontal. Right. I'm not really feeling it yet, but I'm going to fool with it a little bit and see where it goes. So it's a very symmetrical layout, which isn't a bad thing. I think it has some good qualities, but this circle down here at the bottom, I don't really like that one. So I'm just going to go into my layers, and I'm going to turn off that big circle, and then go into my other one as well, turn that one off. Right, so I like that a little bit better. And now maybe what I can do is I can kind of bring in some stuff, some patterns from the bottom on up, and it doesn't have to be completely geometric like it is now. I can break it up and do some freeform things on it. It's wherever you want to take it. So I'm gonna pause this again, and then show you where I end up with it in the end, right? All right, so this is where I am right now. So what I essentially did was I made it really big. So I clicked on my folders so you can see how large it is on my screen now. So I made my design really big so I'm zooming in on one area. And then what I did was I offset both designs. So there's a center point and I can select both of them so you can see. So it's still there, it's still symmetrical, but I put it off to the right here to kind of give it a little bit more intrigue. So usually asymmetric designs have a little bit more intrigue, but if you look closely there's some overlapping, which I really like in here, and then some over here. And then what I did was I went to my top layer and I changed it from being passed through, how it was before, which is just the same exact one as the one underneath it. And I changed it to multiply to give it a darker contrasty look. And then I just lowered my opacity a little bit. So to give it a little bit, I wanted it to be dark, but not too dark. So this is where I am on this. The next step would be to add in the texture.